Alright, so I'm gonna do something different. It's gonna be long, but I feel it's necessary. So I'm gonna be comparing two movies that are semi-similar, Repo Men and Repo the Genetic Opera. Now, I've watched Repo Men once, and it was kind of like forced. I didn't want to watch it. And Repo the Genetic Opera approximately 6 times. So, yeah, you can pretty much guess which side I'm for, or which side I prefer, I guess. So, first I'm gonna just like discuss the movies themselves, how they're done, different uh, basic opinions of the movie, and then I'm gonna do character contrasts, and then I'm going to say pretty much how one feels like it's more copied than the other. So, okay, first, I guess I'll go with the one that came out first, the one I like better. We Village and Egg Opera takes place upon years from now. Like, I can't remember the time it says, but basically, organ failures have happened. Massive organ failures. Like, everyone's dying left and right, and then GeneCo, a new company, comes out with these wonderful new organs that anyone can get. Problem is, they're a little expensive. The solution: payment plans. Um, this quickly spirals out of control because after a while, I guess it's not as needed as much. So they decide to expand by making it a fashion statement. Their slogan is, "It's what's on the inside that counts." So, yeah. The story connects a bunch of different characters. The main ones being Nathan, the Repo Man, and his daughter Shiloh. But you also have the owner of Jinko, Roddy, his three demented children, and Blind Mag, the voice of Jinko. And all these people, all these characters connect, and it all culminates in the finale. And of course, this is all sung. It is an opera, but it's not. It's not. It's sweet. Um, High School Musical crap. It's more goth. It's more rock. It's definitely something um, almost anyone could like, unless you don't like hardcore music, that kind of music. Um, One problem with this movie is the gratuitous sex scenes. They're not really sex scenes. They just like okay, they have these like surgeons called genterns. They wear these like slutty nurses outfits, and they basically act like prostitutes while they're cutting you open. Yeah. Um, in this movie, they use a Zydrate, which is a very powerful drug, which is another thing that's thrown through the movie. Um, so you've got that. It is rather cheesy in its use of blood and organs, but it is a low budget film that um, it didn't really show in theaters. Um, so yeah, it's that kind of thing. Repo Men, which takes place again somewhere in the future. This one, not as well explained as to why the whole organ things are necessary, but it's more like it's still around. It's just not as necessary, I guess. Unlike that one, which was an apocalyptic future, like everything was gene co advertising, and there are like dead bodies everywhere. This one is more like it could be us 10 years from now, like 10, 20 years from now. It's regular, everyday kind of setting. And this one follows a guy named Remy, who is a repo man, and he has been a repo man for a long time, and he then has to have a new heart, and he then decides he can't do the job, and it's all about him trying to get out of paying, out of being a repo man. It actually does not make a whole lot of sense when you really think about it. But I'll get into that later. But yeah, it's him. It's a first-person narrative, actually. It's him like writing a book until I want to say about 3/4 of the way through the film. Then you see that's where you get to the point where he is right now writing the book, and then he's being chased and all that wonderful stuff. So yeah. Again, because this was had a good budget. It had it was highly publicized. Repo Men has a lot better, you know, via sound and well, maybe not sound, picture and stunts and effects. The organs here are kind of like metallic-y, like robotic. The ones in genetic opera are bloody and they look like real organs. And that is another difference. No singing in Repo Men, but it is a little cheesier, actually, if you watch it. Yeah, it's hard to believe, actually, that the one without singing is cheesier. And I will get into that. But by way of movie, I would suggest to anyone to watch Repo the Genetic Opera. I wouldn't suggest Repo Men to anyone, really, other than to make fun of it. Really, it's kind of bad. What happens in Repo the Genetic Opera is you've got Nathan, who is a Repo Man, but he doesn't want to be. I'll get into that when I get into Nathan. But he's hiding being a Repo Man from his daughter, who is sick. And seriously, I'm just gonna go like really quick. So she kind of hates him because he keeps her locked away because she's sick. She can't go very far. She sneaks out one night, ends up running into a guy named a grave robber, who are people who try to get Zydrate out of dead bodies to then sell to drug addicts. Anyway, after that, she is seen by Roddy, the owner of GeneCo. And turns out that Roddy and Nathan were after the same girl at one point, who happens to be Shiloh's mother. He didn't like the fact that Marnie, Shiloh's mom, left him for Nathan. But he doesn't tell Nathan that. Turns out he killed Marnie, who Nathan knows that he killed. But the truth is he killed him so he could get Nathan to be his top repo man, because he needed skillful hands. And Roddy decides after seeing Shiloh that he will make her his heir instead of his 3 psychotic children, who I'll get into. And he does this sort of thing by bringing her to various things throughout the night. This all takes place in one night. Pretty much one night. And so while she's out, Roddy snuck her out. She's looking she meets Blind Mag, who was Marnie's friend. And Blind Mag is indebted to Jinko because they gave her eyes to see. But she hates it because she is basically propaganda for this horrible company, and so she's leaving that night. She's planning on leaving that night. All the while, Nathan's getting upset because he can't see Shiloh. And, Nathan eventually finds out that Shiloh is in cahoots with Roddy, and when he goes out to confront Roddy, Shiloh goes out to the opera that night, the genetic opera, the title of this movie. At the opera, Roddy tells Shiloh that Nathan was the one who made her sick. Yes, her dad made her sick so that he could keep her safe, have a viable reason to keep her locked away in the house. Then, turns out that Nathan learns why Marnie died was because of Roddy. And pretty much, Meg pulls her eyes out, dies. Nathan gets shot by Roddy. Roddy, who is suffering from a chronic disease, dies. Shiloh's left, holding her father in arms. They make up. She leaves. That is, in a nutshell, Repo the Genetic Opera. Way better than what I just did there. But this is what Repo Men is. Remy is a Repo Man. He has a friend. I can't remember what his friend's name is. But they've been partners for years, ever since they were kids. They're like the best of friends ever. And they're Repo Men together. And he doesn't mind his job. His wife hates his job. She tells him, get out of this job. Get out right now. She keeps, like, threatening him with divorce and shit. He's like, no, okay, yeah, I'll do it. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He then, ends up on a job, botching it, ruins his heart, ends up getting another heart. And he has to do payments. And it turns out now that he can't do the repo game anymore, for whatever reason. You know, I don't understand it. I mean, like, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm just, okay. So, he can't do it anymore. He's all upset. Now his friend's getting all pissy because his friend's like, what the hell? We're Repo. We're Repo forever, man. He's like, really? I can't do this anymore. So he skips out. He tries to do office work. He can't do it. Tries to get another job. He can't do it. So he's like, okay, well, instead of trying to, you know, get a job that I can't do this with, getting a loan, doing something that will pay more for my heart, I'm going to skip town and end up hooking up with skip town because my wife let me, because I wouldn't listen to her, and run off with some random girl who pretty much has horrible accents all the time, so now she has, like, everything in her is mechanical. And we're gonna run away from Repo, and we're gonna go to someplace in the Caribbean, and we're gonna live a wonderful life. And that's what his thought process is, pretty much. So, as they get like almost caught by the Repo guys, then they make it to the place to get themselves written out of this main system thing, and they're like, okay, let's do this. Holy shit, we can't get out of this thing. They start like, holy crap, it's a scanner. We literally have to show them our organs. Oh shit. So it's like this whole scene where he's cutting themselves open and they're scanning, and it's just so retarded. And the friend's watching the entire time, and then it ends with the friend, the girl, and him on an island in some Caribbean place, and he made a book that he'd been writing the entire time called the Repossession Mambo, which is actually what the story was going to be called. And the book that this thing is based on, that I really don't even want to read now. Usually I do when I watch a movie that's based on a book, but never mind. Turns out, though, that was all just a hologram based on some new brain thing they made, because when the Repo Man attacked them, yeah, he got hit in the head, and now he's in a coma. So, pretty much the entire end, yeah, bullshit. So bad. Alright, going into part 2 now.